Welcome to Computron Support. In this series of videos that I'm putting together under the title simply Get More Out of Your PC. Now the idea is to go back to basics and just go through some of the very basics of programs, in this case spreadsheets. I know certainly I have a few customers who will admit to having used a computer for 10-20 years and never have used a spreadsheet or opened a spreadsheet up, simply perhaps not realizing the potential or what they can be used for. So what we're going to do here is just try and demonstrate the very basics of spreadsheet. The version that I'm using here just so happens it's Office 2007. It doesn't matter what version you have on your computer, the principle's very much the same. The buttons, they may be in different places, or rather they're usually in the same place, but they might look slightly different on the version that you're using. And of course, if you're not using Microsoft Office, there are alternatives out there such as LibreOffice, OpenOffice, and all these free alternatives as well if you don't have Microsoft Office installed on your computer. So what we're going to do today, as we mentioned, we're going to go back to basics, lay out a very, very basic spreadsheet just to get used to working things and just to sort of demonstrate how this all works. We've got rows and we've got columns here. If you open a spreadsheet, and I've never used one of these things, then it could look quite confusing and you might wonder what on earth you're going to use this for. But all sorts of possibilities. The possibilities are endless, really, what you can do with these sheets. So for a case of an example, today we're going to put together a very, very basic and simple monthly expenditure sheet, so a personal expenditure sheet for your month. So to do that, the first thing I'm going to do here is on my keyboard, Control and A for all. It's going to select all the cells. I'm just going to knock the font size up to, we'll take that up to 14, just so that you can see what I'm doing here a bit clearer on your screens. So here we go. First things first, get used to the cursor. As you move your cursor around, the cursor will change depending on what you hover it over. And when working with spreadsheets, that's probably the best tip we can give you to start with, is get used to the fact that the cursor, depending on what the cursor is doing, that will determine its function. Okay, we're going to take a few columns here. We'll take a few along the top here. This is going to be just simply our title, because we want it to eventually, once it's finished, look nice on the screen when we open it up. So I've highlighted the cells. I've just sort of drag along there like that. There's a button that says Merge and Center. Get used to using that. That's quite a useful button. If I hit that just now, what's going to happen is it's going to merge all these cells together as one. And of course then I can align it to the left if I want. In here I'm just going to put title. I'm going to spell that right. Okay, title. Later I can go in and change the font and put some styles in here and make it look nice if I want to. Just now let's get just down to the basic workings of this. I'm going to take some lines that I want going across the way, so I'm selecting some cells here, but this time if I hit Merge and Center, this time it's going to make one big cell, which is not what I want. What I want to do on the drop down on Merge and Center, we take Merge Across, and it's created all these lines here. You can have as many as you want. Don't worry too much. You can go back later and insert additional columns or rows. It's of no importance just now. All we're doing is demonstrating the very basics. So in here we're going to put some monthly personal expenditure. We're going to put some entries in here. So we'll put car insurance, we'll put council tax, just some basic entries in here, telephone and that type of thing. So we've put 2 or 3 entries in there. I can select all these and I can align them to the left so that they're sitting like that. Now in here, in these boxes here, I can resize this if there's not enough space by hovering again back to the mouse. Hover your mouse over the different cells and it will change what things do. So in here are going to be the values, the currency, the actual monetary entries. So what I might want to do at this stage is select the entire row, and there's a button that you'll see that says format. When you click on it, it's a kind of drop down, and we want format cells, and I want to tell it its currency that I'm working with in this row. I can do this later. Let's put some examples in here. Okay, so let's just put some random examples. 88.33 council tax, we'll put 13644, just all random entries here. Okay, so I'm going to tell it to format this entire row as currency. So format and format cells, and hit currency and OK that, and you'll see what's happened. It's just gone in. So when I put extra entries in at a later date, let's say we're putting something else in here, 70 to 70, 720. We just put the number in. We don't have to put the pound sign in. We just type in the number, and when we click away from that cell, it will format it for us. Generally speaking, Excel or spreadsheets, they will do the work for you. Allow them to do the work for you is what we're kind of aiming for here. Now we want the total of this. All we're going to do today is just addition. That's it. In a later video, we'll look at subtraction, division, and other formulas, other basic formulas. Today, just adding up everything in this section here. So I want the total to appear in this box, let's say. So I've clicked on that box. Let me just do a merge and center there, and I'm going to put in, or just type in, total. So the best thing to do if you've never worked with a spreadsheet, have a play around with these. Just see how you get on with working with these things. Now we've just typed in total there, and this is where I want my total to appear. Now there's a little symbol. It will most likely say the word Autosum on your Excel or on your spreadsheet software. So we click on Autosum, which is like a little symbol, and we go for sum. When we click on that, the highlighter will flash away here, and again back to the cursor. We're watching for the cursor changing shape, and we want to roll over the thing, and we want to select what we're doing here. So we're going to select this and just resize, in this case, the blue square. Don't worry too much about the formula that's appearing in the bottom here. Just highlight the box that you want it to calculate. I want it to calculate everything in that section here. So once I'm happy, that's the selection, that's what I want it to add up. Once I'm happy with that, on the keyboard, hit return, or your enter key on your keyboard. Done. And this will now add up a total, a live total of whatever entries we put in here. So if I put in another entry, let's put in a 2000 entry here. Click away from that. It's just not big enough to go in. When we see hashtags like that, it just means there's not enough space, so we'll just widen it a wee bit. So it's simple as that. So when we change the entry there, you'll see as we click away, you'll see down here the total sum changing in real time. And of course later you can go back and tidy all this up. We can go in and there's a little icon there that says borders. We want to go for all borders, and then of course we can color code these as well if we want. We can take this section using our paint bucket. We can color code all these areas as well to whatever we want, and start laying out your spreadsheet, and it will begin to take shape. Suddenly, there we are, we have our first working spreadsheet, and it's as simple as that. So as I say, later we'll look at having another section here, perhaps with income or expenditure or various different things, but that is the very basics there, just to get you started as we kick off this series of videos simply called Get More Out of Your PC. Thanks for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, there's a red subscribe button just down below. Thanks and bye for now.